Welcome to another interesting conversation about our fellow Jamaicans. As you know, June is Caribbean American Heritage Month for those of you in the U.S. and around the world. Well, this is a special day that we in the Caribbean diaspora have created. And so to feature our Jamaican that we're very, very proud of, it is our privilege to have a conversation with media personality Candice. We can get to speak to Candice, a highly regarded voice of the Caribbean broadcast journalism, tireless advocate in her community, and a capable ambassador for our culture. Here are some of her accomplishments: syndicated radio host, producer, Jamaican and Caribbean stations, actress, and television host, include being the pioneer on BET, filmmaker and instructor at the online faculty at the Los Angeles Film School, a recent MBA graduate from the prestigious Syracuse University. This media personality has been lying low in the recent years, but look out, she's here, and Chris is going to do the interview. So pour yourself a tall glass of something nice and listen to some refreshing inspiration. So take it away, Chris.
Thanks, Denise, and welcome, Candice. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
Yes, great. Let's start by sharing with our audience a little about your background. For those of you, those are not familiar with you, given that you're a media person in the Caribbean. Tell us a little about your Jamaican roots.
All right. Well, I was born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica. I was there right up into my adult life. I started out as a performer in, as most children who are artistic in Jamaica. I started out performing at the festivals as a child, singing in the choir. That I graduated into high school, did a little dancing there, where I excelled in dance and drama. And then I decided to study performing arts. So my first degree is actually in performing arts. My first associate degree is in performing arts. And then I ended up working on the North Coast, as most performing arts majors do. And I remember I got ill. It was too much for me. And I was working. I'm a hard worker. I tend to work really, really hard. And I worked really hard, and I worked myself into sickness. And my doctor said, you can't do this anymore. And at the time, I had an aunt who owned the first TV cable station in the country. It was called Reggae Sun TV. This is way before RETV, Music Plus, all of them. And I went over and started working in television there, and that's where I kind of cut my teeth on TV, I would say. It was very rudimentary. It was very, very low budget, very guerrilla style, as we say in the film world. But I spent about 2 years or so as a teenager really working and honing my craft there, being a little bit of a one-man band, producing, hosting, writing scripts, doing a little bit of editing, things like that. And Winford Williams came calling. He saw me out at an event producing with a couple of my camera people. And Winford Williams, that's Winford from CVM TV, he tried to recruit me for about a year, and I said no. And then eventually, I guess the offer was too good to refuse. And okay. I guess the rest is history. I became the youngest person to have their own TV show on television in Jamaica. I was 18 years old when I started working at CVM TV. and I had 2 shows that I was the host of, The Party and the Video Countdown, the Hit List, which is what I was brought on at CVM TV to do. So I was a very big part of the E unit, wrote a lot of on-stage scripts with Winford, worked very closely with Winford for many, many years. I believe even today, if you hear On Stage is brought to you by, that's actually my voice. I did that voiceover a good 15 years ago.
All right.
Yeah.
So boy, you're really a young pioneer here in this space. I know your aunt had the station and the like, but was there a media personality that you,
that inspired me? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I think you're
was there somebody outside of your family that inspiration says, I'd like to do that also?
Honestly, I just love to perform. I was always a performer. I was always a singer, a dancer, an actress, that sort of thing. And being in entertainment and being that close to what I loved and being able to be the conduit of that information to a wider audience is really what made me excited to go to work every day. So to be honest, I really never wanted to be a media personality at all. It's not something that I decided I wanted to do since I was a little girl. What I wanted to do was perform on Broadway since I was a little girl. That never really happened for me, but this was another way for me to express my talent, express myself, and still in the same vein, make enough money to live the way I wanted to. And so I fell into media by accident, but I love it. I love every minute of it. I really do. I love my craft. I love the challenge of producing a television show from scratch, writing my scripts, developing the stories, finding the stories in interviews. And I talk a lot, as you can tell. So that helps.
So you seem like you're involved with several pieces of it. You researched this stuff, you wrote the copy, and then you also produced the stuff, and you're a part of it. So you're in front of the camera and also behind the camera.
Absolutely. I'm a journalist first. So I write most of the e-news stories, the entertainment news stories that happened at the first part of On Stage were written. Most of those stories were written by me and produced by me. The voiceovers were also me. A lot of times Winford would be working on his interviews and things like that. We would work together on those. I worked at CVM Television for about 5.5 years. During that time, I was exposed to a lot. I had my own show on BET. I did a season of Live from Paradise. I don't believe that there's any other TV host from Jamaica that worked in Jamaica, that's from Jamaica, that has had the privilege to have their own show on BET.
All right. Before we get to your BET piece, we want to, because some of our folks that are listening, young people leaning in to find out, when they hear inspirational speakers like you, they'd like to know, did you take certain subjects in class to be able to do such an array of work? How did high school prepare you for that?
High school, wow, okay. I was not the best student in high school. I really was not. I was a B- at best when I graduated. I really didn't focus on my academics so much as I focused a lot on my craft. I really, really loved to dance. I really, really loved music. And pretty much every year since I've started school, since kindergarten, I would always receive the award for dance, drama, or music at whatever school I was attending. And that's really where my focus was. I was always a very bright child, always very inquisitive, very, very intelligent. I really loved documentaries. I loved to immerse myself in the news. And to this day, I am very, very much aware of what's going on around me. I'm very much aware of what's going on in the world. I've always had a very open mind to situations and people and an inquisitive mind. So to be honest, I would say Excelsior High School prepared me socially. Going to a co-educational institution really prepared me on life, and a school that was not exactly the most, how do I say this? Because Excelsior is really a very, very good institution. It's a very good school, quality education, both in terms of on paper, but also in life. Very active in sports and things like that.
Yeah,
writing is just comes naturally to me.
Your writing skills from?
I learned that at Excelsior High School for sure. Very good English program there. Very, very good English language program. And my parents as well. I come from a very intellectual family. My father is a mechanical engineer. My mother is the archives and records management consultant. So being the artist in the family was not the easiest thing to be.
Right.
My little sister just graduated from Yale, so that should tell you the family that I'm from. So I was the only artist. So I actually want to say something to the young people who are artists in a family of nerds. It's okay to be different. Just invest in what you love. If you invest in what you love, then the money will always find its way to you. But you have to invest in what you love. You have to, it's not enough to just love it. You have to put in the work. You have to and do whatever it is, do what makes you excited to get out of bed every day. I have never done anything in terms of my work that I don't love. Nothing.
Well, tell us about some of those special moments for you. Could you give us 2 special moments that are still so memorable and pleasant for you in your early career?
Oh boy. Oh wow. That's a tough one, to be honest, because there's so many. I really, really enjoyed my job. I mean, I was at work on Christmas Day, New Year's Day for 10 years. I never rang in a New Year's off camera. I was always on camera when the year rang in. I was doing the countdown on television. So
was there a person or a topic that kind of, you said, boy, that was so special?
When I interviewed Lionel Richie, that meant a lot to me. I've been a major fan of Lionel Richie forever. I grew up on his music. He wasn't very fond of the fact that I said I grew up on your music. He's like, you're calling me old. However, that was quite the experience for me. Working with the BET crew as well was very different, from the way things are done in the Caribbean. And it was my first kind of introduction to First World. I was very, very young. I was 21 at the time. I think I was too young to appreciate what was really happening, right? But I dove in feet first, and I really, really enjoyed the taping of the Live from Paradise experience. It really prepared me for even my producing that I've done here in the U.S. But interviewing Lionel Richie was very special to me because I love his music so, so much. He is a wonderful personality. He welcomed me with open arms. He truly did not disappoint me, as most artists tend to do when you interview them in person. He really, really was a wonderful, wonderful person. Another good moment for me was meeting LL Cool J. Loved him a lot as well. Sierra was a gem to interview. Boyz II Men. I interviewed Boyz II Men and Air Supply on my birthday. That was amazing. Yeah, Air Supply gave me a guitar pick for my birthday before they went out on stage as a birthday gift. I still have it. That was really a wonderful, memorable moment for me. Yeah.
All right. So, given that media personalities are usually seen as divas, right? How do you, and moving from a country like Jamaica into the space of BET, what were some of the things you had to do to, to be on your top of your game at BET?
Well, because my show only ran for one season, I really kind of had a very short foray into BET. So the biggest issue that BET had with me was my accent. They thought my accent was too thick and that the people in the United States would not appreciate or be able to understand what I was saying. I was speaking to you as I am now, but apparently it was a little much for them. And so they had suggested a language coach and all sorts of things. And we're going to go into that. And then the show got canceled for, I guess, budgetary reasons. One regret I do have is that I didn't take advantage of that. I didn't have management at the time. And so at 21 years old, I didn't know how to take advantage of that opportunity the way a lot of people are doing now, right?
Right.
I guess because we didn't have social media back then, this was 2004, I really didn't have anyone around me to assist me to really take advantage of that opportunity and head myself into the United States market as a TV host at the time when I was young and fresh and green and ready to go.
All right. So given there may be some young women listening to you right now. Given the experience and the season that you have, can you share one gem of wisdom for her that would allow her to be successful in her career in media?
Don't be afraid of change, but always, always, always stay true to who you are. It has been the key to my success in any area or arena that I've been in. When I walk into any room, people usually, even if they've never met me, they know nothing about me because I am so authentic and genuine in everything that I do, in every interaction that I have. People feel that. People see that. And they will gravitate toward that. Do not try to be what you're not. It will come across through the camera to your audience. Always, always be yourself. Always be yourself. But don't be afraid to make changes to improve upon yourself.
All right.
Those
That's great
two are
advice.
very important.
It seems like you're not afraid to change. Got an MBA degree, which people would not see as being within the media space.
I still think
give us a sense of what motivated you to do that and how you're going to leverage it within your media profession.
Okay, so I came to the United States because I was an actress in a sitcom in Jamaica called Me and the Crew. At the time, I was probably the highest, if not one of the highest paid entertainment personalities in the country. I had shows across the Caribbean. I was working for Heineken. I was working for CVM. I was doing work for MTV Temple. I was really on top of my game. And I realized that I was going to be doing this in this position for the next 30 years, and I was not okay with that. I'm an Aquarian. I like change. I like to grow. And I felt like I needed more, right? So when I did the actress thing with Me and my Crew, it was a totally different space from television. Film was easier in terms of, it's still hard, but you didn't have deadlines. You didn't have to deal with clients all the time telling you how they wanted your stories to be, or getting upset when you did your stories or you told the truth about their event, or you didn't have these crazy 2-day deadlines. You had 3 months to do a project, which usually I have 3 days. And so I really loved that. I did Me and the Crew for 2 or 3 seasons as a supporting actress. And I said, you know what? I want to do this. I want to do film. And so I took all my savings. I literally walked off the job, came to the United States, went to film school, where I learned a lot about filmmaking. while doing that, I still missed doing my media stuff. And so I created Island Fever FM. Actually, I created the Candice Buchanan Show, which was on air in Atlanta for a while, then on air in Orlando for a while. And so I was doing that. And when I left school, I went into producing for a home shopping network here in the United States. Mm-hmm. And while doing that, I still maintained doing my show. And everybody here liked the show. I won a number of awards for Best Jamaican Radio Show in Orlando and things like that. And what I realized is if I'm going to be an entrepreneur for real, then I need to learn how the big boys do it. I need to come out of my creative space, and I need to learn how to walk as a Black woman in a white man's world. And this is something you might not understand as a man, but as a woman, as a woman who has a little bit of looks, people tend, when you walk into a meeting or a boardroom and you look a certain way, they assign a certain reason as to why you're there. And it usually doesn't have anything to do with your intellect, but everything to do with how you look. And so right. I wanted to lead with those 3 letters behind my name when I walk into a business meeting, okay? So when I walk into a meeting now, it's Candice Buchanan, MBA. It's not Candice Buchanan, TV host, pretty girl on television who looks nice. It's Candice Buchanan, MBA, businesswoman, entrepreneur when I walk into a room. And
right.
that is
so
why
to give you an authoritative position.
Correct.
In the game.
Absolutely.
Okay. No.
And I think every woman, female entrepreneur, should aim to do that. Get your paperwork, get your education, because it's good when you can lead with that when you enter into any meeting, into any space. It's good when you can lead with your education first.
So you're still rooted in media, and but
100%.
you're using other things to do. So give me a sense of where the state of our media right now. Media is a very competitive, rapidly evolving field because of technology. Right. What's your take on the sense of where the Jamaican, the Caribbean communities, as far as maturity in its media content and broadcasting capability?
In the United States, or are we talking about in the Caribbean?
Right, the influence where you see maybe at home and abroad.
All right, so you want me to answer both? No problem. So in terms of media in Jamaica, I can only speak for Jamaica. I mean, I've visited most Caribbean islands at least twice. But what I've seen is, obviously, we are not we're not first world countries, right? And so the quality of our productions, based on the tools that we have, may not hold up to the first world, right? So to speak. Mm-hmm. However, I would say the quality in terms of our ability to tell a story, I'm talking about filmmaking now in terms of our storytelling. If you look at the quality of the music videos that are being produced by our media people and our film people from the Caribbean, it's really coming up, definitely first world. In terms of television and broadcasting in general, I'm going to get in trouble for this one, but I feel like the love of the craft is not why our people or personalities are doing the work.
Okay.
It's not because they love media. There are very few people out there, and you can tell the ones who really love it because of the way they present themselves and how they're received by their audience. But then there's another set that just got into it because of the fame or the perceived fame, which to me is the downside of being a media personality, to be honest.
Well, let's look at it also from the consumer side, right? You talk about the producers. From the consumer side, what's your sense of, given what you just said about quality of the product. How is that product being supported and consumed?
So media is evolving in a rapid way based on technology, right? So everyone has a smartphone or has access to a smartphone. They have access to Alexa and Amazon and all that. I actually have a satellite radio show that I do that you can actually listen to in your car, separate from the traditional broadcasting medium. And I've had to evolve, and other media professionals like myself, we've had to evolve to meet the audience where they're listening, right? So satellite radio, mobile apps, even the mediums that you're using right now, online, things like that. We have had to really grow with the times and grow with the technology. And it's been difficult to keep up, to be honest, because now I find myself having to share a lot on social media because that's the way people are consuming things right now. And I was very slow to that trip, which is why my followers might not be in the millions. But
so
really
talk to those who are not following you.
now.
What would you say? What would you say to those who are not following you? Say, boy, why should?
Honestly, I would rather you follow Island Fever FM, to be honest. And that's the difference between myself and quite a few people in media. I would rather you follow Island Fever FM than follow me.
All right. So what about Island Fever that's novel or compelling or inspirational that I should? Because I'm not involved in media like most people are. I'm the nerd type. So tell me
you're a nerd.
why I should even consider spending some of my time in this space.
Because here's the thing. Regardless to whatever problems you're experiencing, media is your escape. Entertainment is your escape. It is the place you go to escape from your everyday life, right? It's why we watch movies. It's why we listen to music. It's why we participate in social media fads and things like that. The truth is we all need a place to relax. We all need a place to feel like we belong. And Island Fever FM for Caribbean diaspora people provides a taste of home, okay? So, but not only a taste of your home specifically, but a taste of an introduction, so to speak, of other cultures within the Caribbean that you might not have been exposed to because you would have been in your Jamaican bubble or your Guyanese bubble or your Trinidad bubble or your Haitian bubble. What Island Fever FM does is we bring all those cultures together. We have disc jocks from representing different countries, different areas, different territories, even different languages, right? So we have Haitian Americans on, and through running Island Fever FM, I myself have been exposed to Haitian culture in a way that I don't believe I would have been able to do had it not been for my work with Island Fever FM. Right?
You're certainly very dedicated to this thing. So as you look, I know you have some community initiative to try to give back. But in light of that and what you'd like to do to leave your larger footprint on our media space, finish this sentence for me. In 5 years, because of Candice, media within the Caribbean and Jamaica will be what?
Okay. In 5 years, because of Candice, Caribbean people
Candice
all
will be
across
doing what in 5 years to further the art and the craft of media in the Caribbean?
Oh, art and the craft of media in the Caribbean, to be specific. All right. So in 5 years, Candice will be offering scholarships to young artistic children who want to study. I'll be offering opportunities for them to study the art in the United States. I'll be providing some kind of scholarship, some kind of opportunity for them to study the arts in the United States and even at home, right? So there are a number of, I really want to invest in the students who are trying in school, but they're not quite A students, but they are trying. And I want to reward those students with being able to study in their own areas of expertise. So that's really what I want to do. I want to develop the youth. I want to develop the arts. I want to develop the film industry in Jamaica for sure. Definitely. Those are three things that I will be doing in 5 years.
Wonderful. So as we close, leave a final gem of wisdom with our audience.
Be authentic. Love what you do. It's the only way you're going to get up every day and be excited about life. You know, don't sweat the small stuff, or try not to, right? Life is a journey, not a destination. And you've got to remember that as much as possible. Stop and appreciate where you are. Live from a place of gratitude as much as you can. I mean, it's the human space for us to be to complain a lot. But every now and again, you've got to remember to just stop, look at where you've been, look at where you are now, and love yourself for it.
That is wonderful, wonderful closing. So, to learn more about Candice, visit islandfeverfm.com, and you can also email her at business@islandfever.com. You said that you have a satellite show. How can the audience listen to you on the satellite show?
My satellite radio show is actually on right now. It's on Dash Satellite Radio on the Delicious Vinyl Station every Saturday Eastern Time, every Sunday Eastern Time, 6 to 8 p.m. and that's Pacific Time, 3 to 5 p.m. So
awesome.
That's Dash Satellite Radio on the Delicious Vinyl Station, and I'm their island DJ on there. Island Fever FM gives you the very best mixings of dancehall, reggae, soca, some compa in there, and a little bit of Afrobeat.
Yeah, you're hitting all the buttons for the Caribbean community. To learn about Chris Daley, visit Digital2Grow. That's the number, Digital2Grow. To learn about Jamaican Diaspora, visit JamaicanDiaspora.com. Candice, we enjoyed you. Happy Caribbean Heritage Month for all of you in the U.S. and the Caribbean Diaspora in the U.S. And that event, that month is going to just get bigger and bigger and larger. 33 countries in the Caribbean, and we are making moves. Candice, you have a good day now. Thanks for spending some time with us. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Take care.